Welcome back to the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Madisonville Marine. No matter what kind of boat you're looking for, they've got it. That's pontoon boats, deck boats, fishing boats, Skeeter, Hurricane, Aqua Patio, G3, you name a make or model, they've got it at Madisonville Marine. It's one-stop shopping at Highway 411 North in Madisonville. It has been since 1976. Folks, there's no need to visit 3 different dealers when there's one in the area who carries so many different types of boats. Madisonville Marine, there's no better place to buy a boat. All right, take a look here at the Tennessee schedule. You see Ball State, 7 o'clock on the SEC Network this week. Pittsburgh, here on Channel 6 in a couple of weeks, 3:30. Akron is also it's an ESPN Plus game for those of you who stream them, and then they'll announce the rest of those as they come. But Ball State at Pitt, Akron, Florida, at LSU, Alabama, UT Martin, Kentucky, at Georgia, Missouri, at South Carolina, at Vanderbilt. First time they've closed with 2 road games since the 30s, I believe. I've looked that up 5 times and never write it down. But the question to Jimmy Himes and Bob Hodge, who are back here with me, looking at Tennessee's schedule, are the Vols more likely to start strong or finish strong?
I think if you break it up, a strong finish is really possible, despite the fact you've got Georgia sitting right there. Mm-hmm. Because I think they've got 5 of their last 6 games, if I looked at the schedule correctly, are pretty winnable. I don't think you're going to beat Georgia, but I think it's more likely, I think they may finish stronger than they start.
If I define it as 3 games, yeah, they'll finish stronger.
Take Georgia out of it?
Yeah, if I take Georgia out of it. The first 4, though, I think they got a great chance to win, but Pitt is an obstacle, Florida's an obstacle, right. So that's going to be tougher. I do think they'll handle Missouri, South Carolina, and Vanderbilt at the end of the year. So if
you got UT Martin in there in Kentucky at the end.
Yeah, and if you expand it to
if you're just looking if you're looking first 4 games, last 4, let's put the schedule back up there if we can. If you're looking first 4 games and last 4 games, you're talking about Florida and Pitt being in there off the top. Would be challenging. And then at the bottom, you've got Georgia, and it depends on how seriously you take South Carolina. Now, look, Vanderbilt, though they won big last night at Hawaii, I don't think Clark Lee's quite turned them around yet. Missouri, look, that's a question mark. I mean, they've held their own against Tennessee over the years. They didn't last year, and I would expect Tennessee to beat them, but that's not Vanderbilt status quite yet. Still, South Carolina is the one that would be the question mark. And then there are also people who don't take Pitt seriously. There are a lot of people around here that think, okay, you go to Pitt and you'll win. I think Pitt and South Carolina are pretty similar to me in terms of you could, bad day, a couple of interceptions, you can lose that game.
Tennessee's historically, going back the last, 15 years, they haven't played well at South Carolina. So, I think that's a question. But if I was going to look at that last 6 versus the first 6, I think you got a chance to be, 5-1 in the last 6 games.
I think they got a better chance of finishing strong as well.
I do too. If you take the last 6, I would agree with that. The thing with South Carolina, those games, the last 4 in South Carolina have been decided by field goal, right? Yeah. Right at a field goal. So it has been hard, and Rattler's going to make a difference in their team.
Right.
But I think Pitt is more dangerous than South Carolina. I think Pitt's a good football team that people are overlooking. A lot of it's going to depend on the quarterback, Keaton Slovis, if he plays well, which at times he did at Southern Cal, but at times he didn't. But their front 7 was ranked among the top 10 in the country by somebody. Maybe it was Colin Cowell.
Colin Cowell. Well, Pat Narduzzi is 2-1 against Josh Heupel. I don't think that should be underrated. He's seen this offense 3 times now and beaten it twice. So that has to be factored into it. Let me ask you this. When you look at that schedule, and I'm going to ask my director to pop it back in there again, do you see anywhere on that schedule where Tennessee has a 4-game winning streak this year? And there it is, because, again, there's not a stretch of 4 duds.
If there is one, it's the first 4 games.
Yeah.
That's where it is, because after you get that, you don't have a 4-game stretch without Alabama or without Georgia, which I think those are still 2 hills that you're not going to be able to climb this season. So if you're going to have a 4-game winning streak, it is probably going to be those first 4 games.
Yeah, I agree with that. And right now I'm taking Tennessee to beat Florida. The week of the game I'll take Florida, but right now I'm taking Tennessee because I know how that game goes.
Right, we've seen it before.
Yeah, I agree with Bob completely. If they do have a 4-game win streak, it'll be the first 4.
All right, now the question, do you think they'll do it?
I do.
You think they'll start 4-0?
I do.
Wow.
I do not. I do not think they'll start 4-0. The fan parts of me sure really wants them to, but what Jimmy said, I think going to Pittsburgh is being underrated. I mean, even if you take Florida out of the equation right now, I think going to Pittsburgh is an underrated game by Tennessee fans. I think it's going to be tough. Hope they go up there and win. But it's going to be a tougher game, I think, than people are giving Pittsburgh credit for.
Pitt has a really good offensive line and run game and running backs. And if they can line up and pound Tennessee's defense, that's going to be interesting to see. But that
And limit the offense's possessions.
correct.
if you
Right.
That's what it would
Yes.
do. Exactly.
All right. When we come back, the areas in which UT must show improvement this year, must make progress. Plus, that includes some stats, key stats to watch for the entire season. We got much more to come. We still got the Cavaliers line to go through, our season predictions, all that coming up on the Sports Source.